Hello, everyone, and welcome to GUIDEcx Office Hours. My name is Stacy Hatch, and I'm a product marketing manager here at GUIDEcx. We're so excited, as always, to get the opportunity to talk with you today. So thanks for making the time to be with us. Office Hours is a way for us to review recently released product features, as well as highlight new features coming your way soon. Plus, it gives you the opportunity to ask questions live to members of our product team. And we're excited to have two members of our product team here with us today, Cam and Chris, and I will give them just a brief moment to introduce or reintroduce themselves to you. Let's start with Cam.
Hey everybody, excited to be here. I love office hours, love getting to chat with you, share with you, and learn from you. So thanks for making time to be here today.
Yeah, and like Cam said, this is some of the funnest part of our job and being able to share with you all the good news. There's really a big flood of new things that are pushing out, especially here in this February and March timeframe. So even though we'll be excited about all that good news, the thing that matters most of all is your questions. So we're excited to see what you think, and we'll respond to each of those.
Totally. Thanks so much, guys. We have a jam-packed office hours schedule for you today. We're going to kick it off talking about SMS notifications, which released at the start of the month, and how that's really an effective customer engagement tool for you. We'll talk about the new customer roles experience that's going to be re-releasing into labs with the added functionality View as Customer, which allows you to impersonate your customer and see exactly what their experience will be. And then Chris will be talking about custom layouts and cards that is made possible by our new report builder, as well as the embedded onboarding portal, which I'm so excited about, basically allowing you to take our Compass customer experience and embed that in your application or site. And then you'll get a sneak peek preview of Workspaces. But before we jump into all of that goodness, I do have just 3 housekeeping items to run through with you. We noticed that many of you who registered for office hours this month are either new to your companies and your companies are new to GUIDEcx. So wanted to share a couple resources that may be valuable to you as you're learning the GUIDEcx tool or just looking for best overall onboarding practices. So the first is the GUIDEcx community. You can go here to connect with other GUIDEcx users, get inspiration from how they're using the tool, ask your questions, and see pro tips of the week. And it's super easy to get to. You can navigate to the community right within the GUIDEcx application. So here in this support icon, you click, it will launch the support portal, and you can go ahead and click into community, or you can navigate directly there, community.guidecx.com, and just really be able to take advantage of all of the content that's here and the discussions that are happening. The second item is our recorded master classes. So many of you on the call have probably been the beneficiaries of being on a masterclass with one of our guides, Kimberly Francis, who's fantastic. And though we're not doing those live masterclasses right now, we do have a library of recorded masterclasses that live in the Guide University. Again, super easy to get to within the GUIDEcx application in this support tab. You can go in, click on Guide University, and you'll see not only just these master classes, but you'll also see other trainings that we've put together to help you better understand the tool. And then finally, we're excited to have launched a new referral program. So if you happen to know anyone who could benefit from using GUIDEcx, we've now made it super easy for you to send that referral our way, again, within the application. So here under this support icon, you'll now also see a button, a refer a friend button, that when you click on, will launch a referral form. That's it as far as housekeeping items. As we jump into our new product features, as Chris said, what we love about office hours is the fact that we get to engage with you. So please leave any feedback, any questions you have in the chat. And as we go along, we'll be sure to answer those live. Take it away, Cam.
Awesome. Thank you, Stacy. Good reminder on all of those resources. And let me share my screen. So let's talk about SMS notifications. As Stacy mentioned, we've talked about this a little bit in the past. The big change, though, is that we've gone fully GA with this. And I just want to talk about the use case for it, some of the success that we've seen, and just make sure that you're familiar and comfortable with it. because it really has been awesome for those that have adopted. So SMS notifications, what are they? These are notifications that are built around customers needing to get their tasks done. So this isn't for internal team members. This is geared towards your customers and trying to have a very targeted way to reach them when they need to do something. So we've got notifications for three things: task assignment, task reminders, and then being mentioned in a project note or a task note. So I know there's a lot of other things that you can get email notifications about. We've kept it very minimal with the text notifications, the SMS notifications, so that they just get exactly what they need. The other thing, part of why this is for customers, is because we've optimized this to work with our Compass view. So again, that's the view that it's mobile responsive. And so in a world where your customer gets a notification that they've got something to do, they can have a link like this. They open the link and they get the Compass experience right inside of their phone. And they can update statuses, they can add attachments, they can leave notes or mentions or comments. And it's just very slick, very clean, and easy for them. One thing that we did change during the beta was we implemented a link shortener. It makes this message much more presentable, very clean, and has benefited a lot. So another new thing that I want to talk about is the way that people opt in. So previous or prior to the GA release, anything with SMS notifications, a user had to log in, go to their user profile, and clicks to say, "Hey, I want to receive SMS notifications." And while that's still the case, that they have to manually opt in themselves and have to enter their number, we've eliminated a few of those barriers when it comes to knowing where to click and where to navigate to. So on those emails that are associated with task assignment, task reminder, and mentions on projects and notes, we've added a little footer that is at the bottom of all of those emails. And so they'll see a line like this that says, "Hey, if you want to receive this via SMS, go ahead and click here." It takes them into GUIDEcx, right onto the profile, to where they're able to add that and check the box to opt in and get rolling with it. And once they do that, they go back to receiving email notifications without this footer. So we do distinguish between who's opted in and who has not. And so what's really cool is that went out to our users on January 12th. And you can kind of see our adoption here through our beta, and then jumping up, we got to January 12th, and you see that we've really started to engage quite a bit more. Our daily average is now 250 to 300 notifications that are being sent. So we're excited about that. The other thing that's great about SMS notifications is that we have quiet hours. That means that we don't send SMS notifications in the middle of the night. They are during business hours, and we base it off of the area code of the cell phone. So the spoiler alert, we are changing some of the timing with emails. I know that might be a question when you hear this about SMS. We'll talk about that more later on, but do know that that's also coming. All right. Another thing.
Cam, before you
Yeah.
continue, just a question here from Heather. Does the user need to have downloaded the GUIDEcx mobile app, or will the clickable link take them to a mobile-friendly Compass page in their browser?
It is the latter. It takes you to a mobile page where they can just opt in right there, whether they're on their phone or a laptop or whatever. It's not tied to the mobile app. It's tied to the web browser where they go in and opt in that way.
Correct.
So, any other questions on that?
That's it for now. Oh, here's another actually. Will customers continue to receive email notifications in conjunction with text? Great question, Marissa.
Up to them. They can choose to opt out of the email ones. They've got control over their notifications, and so by default, it still remains enabled. They do have to go turn off the email ones, but they have that option.
Yes. And to even further elaborate, to get SMS notifications, your customers will have to opt in within the application. So in their profile settings, there's now an area that talks about SMS notifications, says opt in, and you just can check a box, add your phone number there, and that will allow you to get those SMS notifications in conjunction with email notifications. Okay, and then Alexis is saying, are the business hours set by us / the company, or is that something that is defaulted?
That's something that we default. I believe it is, I have to go back and check. I believe it's 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then, like I said, it's based off of the area code of the phone. So I happen to be a person that I have a California phone number, but I live here in Utah. So my notifications would be shifted by that 1 hour, but we're making our best guess based on their phone number and where we think they're at.
Okay, that's it, Cam. Thanks for the questions, guys.
Yeah. All right, customer roles. So customer roles is, as Stacy mentioned, it's a feature that we rolled out to labs, and we wanted to learn from it and then make some improvements and roll it back out. So the great news is that it's relaunching in labs next week, with the biggest thing being that resource management is now supported. If you were a customer that wanted to use this and you had resource management, it wasn't accessible at that time. So I want to take a step back, just kind of tell you the purpose of customer roles and make sure that you're familiar and understand why this is important. So we found that customer engagement is one of the core things that we drive at to help you. And it's one of the things that makes us different than other project management softwares. And as we looked at this and we said, okay, if customer engagement is one of the things that differentiates us, let's double down on that and make that a more visible part of our product. And so inside of the team page, the first thing that you'll notice is that rather than customer being down at the bottom, we've moved it up to the top. And we've said, okay, we know that we need customers on here. And by default, we have these 3 roles of executive sponsor, power user, and program manager. And as you jump onto a call, you could say, hello, customer. In order for us to be successful, we find that it's best to have these 3 roles filled to know who we should reach out to and ask questions. You can add them in, invite them to the project, select their view, whether full, compass, my tasks only, and you could just go with the 3 default if that's what you like. However, there's always the ability to add as many roles as you would like. So if you find that you actually have 4 or 5 customer roles outside of this, feel free to add those in and fill those slots. And this is completely customizable. You can come in and change the labels, remove all those things. So customer roles, like I said, the main purpose behind it is to drive engagement and making sure customers are on your projects and are being informed. And it's now available for all customers, including those that have resource management. We look to iterate on this in the future and add more functionality, but what is launching in next week is kind of what I've described here with the labels, not really automation around it, but the slots and the customization for your roles. The one thing that you might notice here on my screen is a new button called View As, and that's actually where I'm going to wrap up before I turn it over to Chris. View As is a brand new feature. We're very excited for it. This, as Chris and I were looking at our list of product enhancement requests or feature requests, this is the 5th most requested feature. Don't worry, we're working on the ones that are 1 through 4 because we know those are important as well. but this one is ready to go. The team's been hard at work, doing some underlying foundational work to make this happen. But what you'll notice is when you're on that team page, there will now be a new button that you see, and it will be this view as. And so this is only for viewing customers. This is to see exactly what they see. This is not for internal users to view other internal users. And I kind of want to just jump straight to the demo before we talk about use cases. So I've got a video right here, and I'm going to walk you through it. So I'm here on the team page. If I want to view a customer, I can come to it. There is a little tooltip that lets you know what you're about to do and the permissions associated with it. And then I'm going to click View As, and that will take me straight into the project. So that's one assumption that we make, is that we assume that you want to see what the customer sees in their project experience. And so we take you straight to the project. You get this banner up here at the top, and it lets you know who you're viewing as, and that your permissions are set at that level. And we'll keep going with the video here. And then we can close it out. And once you close it, we return you straight back here to the team page. So we want it to be a very distinct path that you feel like, I'm starting this journey, I'm going through viewing, and then I'm stopping this journey, and you end up back here on the Teams page. So let's talk about a few use cases. One of the use cases is around kickoff calls. So we've heard a lot of people that say, I'd love to get away from having to set up filters beforehand and configure everything, only to have to click away and go do something else and then come back and have to reset filters. So this is a way for you to have your kickoff call and say, so-and-so customer, let's jump in and see what you'll see. And you can have them in there. You have the customer listed, you view as, and walk through and can see exactly what they see. So hopefully that instills confidence in you and in them that you're seeing what you would expect. And if there's any questions, you can talk about it. Another thing is to experiment with the different views that we offer. So you see in here that when you're adding someone to the project, you pick what view, whether it's full or compass or my tasks only. You could come in and set someone to full view and see what it looks like. Then you could go back, and once you've added a user, you use this kebab menu up here, and that's where you switch the view. You could switch to compass and say, okay, let's look at what this project looks like in compass. And then you could do the my tasks only. And so I can say as a product manager that's troubleshooted and tried to build things, I've had to have 3 different users, all with 3 different views. I'm super excited about this because I'm going to use it all the time to test and see what I need to see too. And the last thing is around that idea of troubleshooting. So if there's a question that comes up, your customer's not sure about something, you can know exactly what they're seeing, jump in and be informed before you reach out or have the call or the email. So very excited for this, and that's what I've got.
I have a question for you from Marissa. What kind of functions can view as a customer user? And Marissa, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think you're meaning perhaps the license types or the users in GUIDEcx who are able to use this view as functionality to see what a customer sees.
Yeah. So if you've got permissions that supersede that of a customer, then you can go do that. So whether you're an admin, a manager, a guide, I will have to double check. I believe even a contributor that has the same, even though that's the same license type as customer users, I believe it even works there, but I'll double check on that last one. But all 3 license types that are paid license types are able to go in and view as that customer. Anything else, Stacy?
Heather is asking, how do I turn this on? I'm not seeing view as yet. This is great.
Good question. We are launching this in labs next week. So that's where you'll navigate to the labs inside of your global company details settings and enable it there. So can't do it yet, but next week.
Yes. And view as customer and customer roles will be one and the same as far as turning that feature on in labs, because this view as experience does live within the customer roles experience.
Correct.
So 2 for 1.
Yep.
Perfect, Chris. Do you need to assign a customer role for it to work? No.
No, but you do have to have a customer in there. So even if that means that you just put in a test customer, the nice thing is that you don't need it to be tied to a real email or anything like that. You could just have someone in there that you can then click on view as, and you can clear them out or do whatever you need, but you're good to go with just one added.
Great questions. So moving from view as now to reporting, there's 2 flavors of reporting. One is more of a view experience called Report Navigator, where you can still explore the data by filtering, drilling, or exporting. And when you go to view those reports, you can expect much faster performance from us, where everything should be loading right around 3 seconds. And we're excited about the improvements that have been made there, but we're even more excited about unlocking the capability for you to go beyond making custom report requests to us, where you still had to kind of get into the backlog of our consulting team's roadmap. And you still had to kind of explain your vision and the questions you were trying to answer and the validation you were trying to do. And now we want to just empower you to self-serve on all those things, that you go beyond a view experience in Navigator to an edit experience in Report Builder. And edit means everywhere. It means changing the layouts of this on the screen, creating totally new charts and cards, and customizing scheduled reports and alerts to the point where you can expand without limit. We're talking unlimited users that can have this, unlimited rows, unlimited refreshes, unlimited cards, unlimited pages, and really just make it so that as much of a drag and drop experience, you're able to answer your questions in the way that makes the most sense to you. So the way that that happens is by going through these 5 main steps. First, you lay out the page, and whenever you hit edit up in the top right, you'll get a new toolbar that lets you pull in new headers, new text for commentary, new imagery if you want to paste in an example or a reference, or new cards where you can either build things from scratch or that you can pull from our library of over 100 answers that we already make available to everyone who uses this. And once you have it all on the screen, again, it's all just drag and drop into the correct position and background colors and sizing that makes the most sense for you. And once you finish that, then you can move on to creating cards, where most of the time people are just looking to add another column, maybe another custom field, or maybe another filter by that custom field. And again, that's as easy as just looking across all the dimensions and metrics that you have, just dragging them into the chart if you want them to be filtered or be visualized, or dragging them in as a filter if you want that to be the way that you segment and slice your data. And once you have that, then you can manage your users, even though we will automatically create a environment and a user for everybody who's in GUIDEcx. If you want to make some of those have full access as an admin, you can do that. And if you want to lock some of your team back into more of the view only report navigator experience, you can just knock them down to a participant where they can still see, but maybe not change what you've configured. And so you have quite a bit of control. And then after you've begun to really branch out and use the main best practice of hitting save as, so that you're creating multiple versions of these things where everyone can go and have their individual needs fulfilled. Once you've created something really special where maybe other people could benefit, you can share them with individuals, or one of the biggest tricks is you can share it with the default group. And when you share it with the default group, then it's visible to everyone. And that's where they can really begin to benefit from the work you put into this. But the final main point that's really powerful is that when you've shared with large groups, sometimes you don't want to have to go through the effort of sharing multiple versions of it, especially when that version is based on filtering it down to their name or to their customers or to their team or to their region. And so what you can do is share out one version of the page, but then have dynamic filters that will apply according to who they are or where they work. So let's say, for example, I wanted to have a team split by the East and West region. I could still have one version of historical trends, but then I could say, hey, Kyle gets the West region, Cam gets the East region, and they're both seeing different versions of the dashboard, even though it's the same general layout and set of charts. So to help you feel that this is all very real, I'll just bounce real quick into a quick example of how this looks. So here I am in Report Builder, and the thing that I'm looking for are these wrench icons. This is where all the magic begins. So if I hit Edit Dashboard, this is the new capability we've never had before. And let's say up at the beginning here, I wanted to add a little bit more context than just the charts, so I'm not having to explain it all the time. And I can just start with a basic question. How long do we take for most projects? And then maybe if I wanted to add a little bit more context, I could down here drag in some explanations and say, in the past, we were averaging over a year, but with our goal to bring it down to 250 days, we are very close. And another really powerful thing here is that whenever we have a reference to data, we don't have to always rely on the static references. We can throw in some smart text, and it works very similar to our merge tags, where you can say, okay, I'm going to look at any data set, any filter, any metric, and I'm going to dynamically inject its value right here. And every time you will refresh the report for a new date range or a new filter, this text explanation will kind of follow along. So another thing that's really popular, besides just throwing in some new context, is just expanding it to totally different types of questions that we want to answer. So I'll just drag in a totally new card, and this is where we can say, okay, I want to look across the 100 answers that Chris said was already available for us. And man, there's so much in here. What I'm specifically looking is for something related to projects. Okay, yeah, now I'm getting closer. This is the one I wanted, these project engagement details. There we go. Awesome. So now I've got this new version of this dashboard that now gives me even more answers than ever before. But now what I want to do is go and add one more column to this chart that would really make it actionable for us. So I could come in here and I'll say, okay, I'm going to leave my foot in the door and how that layout looks. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to grab in the allotted hours, which was something that wasn't on here before, but with drag and drop, it's on there now. And you know, you could have sky be the limit as you pull in any custom field that you want here, and make it so it's really intuitive for your team to use. Or if you just wanted to focus on other pieces in your filtering, you could throw this in here, display it as a quick filter, and then that will be something that you can use to interact really easily on. So that's what you can do really around customizing layouts, customizing cards. It's all through drag and drop, and there's really detailed documentation on it all. So we're excited for many more of you to use it. We've already had a large number of providers opt in to this premium feature, but to be super transparent, it is a premium option. So if you were to go straight to our partner that we're proud to connect with through Domo for this type of functionality, it would be tens of thousands of dollars. But you can just add this on as a premium add-on for any package, and it's orders of magnitude more affordable. And we've had great success with some of our top customers like GoTo, making it so that they're connecting not only GUIDEcx data, but other systems that are closely related, like their CRM and their ERP. And best of all, once you've got it started, since it's so drag and drop, it's not just your analysts that can build reports. You're not having to go to the BI team and beg for something new. You can totally self-serve and take care of this without much deep training. So any questions about Report Builder, I'll watch for in the chat. But if not, I'll just fly on next to the very big announcement we have here around the embedded customer portal. So whenever you think about customer portals, you're thinking about Compass. That's that default view that Cam was referencing a little bit earlier. And what you're seeing as we're kind of flashing across these three examples is that there's Compass from GUIDEcx, But then there's the embedded onboarding portal that lives in your domains. So that means it's in your site, in your system, in your software, in your solution. And anybody who's already familiar with what they're bought from you can now just have a new implementation or onboarding menu in your properties that they trust, and both get assignments and complete those assignments in the pages that you own. So the way that that's done is by inviting more of those customer users. Again, the goal is 3 to 5. If you can get 3 to 5 customers on every project, you are going to be on time. And so you just set Compass as the default view, since that's the only thing that can be embedded in your systems for now. And then you add that new link. You probably already have options like home and users and things like that. You just got to go and add a new onboarding or implementation menu item to make sure it's easy to find. And then on that new page, we just have a line of code you can paste in. It's pretty easy. And as you paste in this code, you'll notice that it's pointed at Compass, and then it's got two big things going on. It's personalized per project and personalized per user. Now, the way that we get that personalization per user is that we'll throw on a little ID at the very end. So as you paste in this code, then you can just go and say, hey, what is the token that I want to unlock access for a customer? We'll respond with that, and you can inject that as a parameter here, and you're set. And the only other thing that can come up at the end is you might want to just say, I officially whitelist GUIDEcx as a domain where I'm comfortable having their content show up on my site. So we all have that documentation in detail on the knowledge base today. Just look for embedded onboarding portal, and you'll be able to get going here in just a few minutes. So not seeing any questions on that in the chat. I will pause for a little bit, see if there's anything else that people want to mention verbally. How does GUIDEcx validate users to users in your system? So that's a great question. As we go back and we look at this page right here, so you would grab the users in your system correct, and you would say, hey, the user in my system has this email. And you would come to this endpoint in our API and say, what is the token for cam@guidecx.com? We'll reply and say the token is 789. And you'll say, okay, cool. So now I want this code to say load Compass for customer 789 in this project. And that's how we kind of map your users to our users, is through this request that we append right here. That was a great question. Awesome. So that was a good. I'll watch for any others if they arise in the future. But then we'll just land this last announcement here around Workspaces. Now, we've loved to see the growth of GUIDEcx across multiple teams and departments and business units. And as we've seen that happen more and more often, we've wanted to make it really easy for you to have one username and one login, and just in a single click, be able to have that same username, be able to jump into multiple GUIDEcx accounts for each of those teams. And now that's possible. All you have to do is connect with your CSM, tell us which of the GUIDEcx accounts you want to combine, and then we will take care of the user mapping across those accounts. And then any user that is mapped to multiple GUIDEcx workspaces, we're able to just hit that logo, and after they've logged in once, they've logged into all of the workspaces that you own, and really switch back and forth so that you're not stepping on each other's toes. You could kind of say, hey, that's for our East team, this is for our West team, or that's for one business unit and this is for another business unit, or even more commonly, that's for our production environment and this is for our sandbox testing environments. And in that way, you could do a whole bunch of low risk testing in your sandbox without it impacting anything where customers are actually invited. So the way that works is to make it all self-serve. You'd be able to just come into admin, go to Workspaces, add as many accounts as you would like, define what the domains should mean, and then you have a combined set of users with a single user list that you can decide whether they deserve to jump into all or just one of those workspaces. So we've already had a few customers do this. Again, they just have reached out to their rep And we've been able to spin these up as well for a minor fee. But that's it. I think I'll turn it back over to Stacy.
Thanks so much, guys. And thanks for everyone who has been on the call, giving us feedback, engaging, asking questions. We appreciate it. Like I said at the start, we really love being able to talk with you guys each month. I will be sending out a recording of office hours to your emails. So if you have any additional questions, there's a couple here I'll share. But if you have any other questions too that you didn't get to ask in the chat, you can just go ahead and respond. And we'd love to continue to connect with you. So here is one question, completely off topic, I know, but is there any work effort going towards resource management improvements in terms of views, tracking, and utilization?
So Recipe Builder is one of the top ways. Report Builder is one of the top ways we see people making improvements to resource management, especially when you talk about that tracking and different types of reporting you want to do on that. So we'll be publishing out more examples of those reports, and definitely want to make it easy for you to see, who's overutilized and how you can redistribute that assignment across more people. Then with Elena's question of, can you share templates across workspaces? We can. So usually what happens when someone wants a new workspace is that we'll say, hey, that new workspace would be great if we had these 3 templates. So you would just identify those for us, and our services team would go and use our template importer to make a one-time copy from one workspace to another, so you can pick up where you left off.
Perfect. Okay, looks like that's it. Thanks again for joining us. We'll plan on having our next office hours in March 28th. So look out for an invite from us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.